pill. Take the red pill. Take the blue 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 pill. You take the red pill, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. 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 Take the red. You stay in Wonderland. You stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. 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 Goes.
Now, from sunny South Florida, it's the Red Pill Reality Show with your host, Riscala. Every Saturday night from 9 p.m. to midnight. And now, your host, Riscala.
Take the red pill, take the blue pill, take the red pill, take the blue pill.
Hello and welcome, everyone. It is the Red Pill Reality Show. I am your host, Riscala. It is an honor and a privilege to have you listen in. Allow me to share with you some of the stuff that I find, my opinions, some of the facts that I run across, and got a lot to share with you tonight. For those who could not see the deception that was being perpetrated upon us by the mainstream media, perhaps you can see it now. There are places that are calling our president, the elected president, the legally elected president. There are places that are calling him a political candidate. There are places that are calling Joe Biden the president-elect. There are leaders of other countries calling to congratulate Joe Biden. It gives you an idea just how far this thing we call the deep state goes. Netanyahu called him to congratulate him. This is after everything that Donald Trump has done for Israel. Netanyahu stabs him in the back and congratulates a man who has not won. The fact of the matter is, Donald Trump has not been reelected. Joe Biden is not the 46th president. That's the fact. There's no way around that. Now, they can try to tell you that Biden had over 300 electoral votes. Yeah, go back and look at the truth of the matter. Because the last time I looked, it was like down to 254 or something like that. The amount of fraud and the amount of coercion, that when it comes out, there's not going to be any question. I have no doubt in my mind it wasn't a red wave. It was a red tsunami. That's what happened. But they did their best to hide it. They weren't going to make the same mistakes they made back in 2016. They weren't ready for it back in 2016. They've had 4 years. They've had 4 years to prepare on how they're going to do and what they're going to do. And some of it is pretty blatant. There are reports of testimonials, people who have come forward and testified on document. They were withheld from being able to do their duty, which was there were supposed to be Republicans and Democrats verifying these ballots, counting these ballots. And there wasn't. In many cases, there are, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to begin. There are numerous people coming forward now, numerous people, about what was said during particular activities at a post office, what you were going to do with one kind of ballot, what you were going to do with another kind of ballot. There's another report of how a, quote, Biden van, what did they call it? A Biden vote van, I think is what they called it, pulled up and just started dumping ballots for Biden. Another report where we have 138,000 discovered ballots and not a single one for Donald Trump. You know what the odds of that are, right? I said before the election, if Donald Trump is to lose, it will, the only way will be by fraud. And that is exactly what has happened. The media is complicit in this. They want to win the public opinion and have people accept Joe Biden as the next president, but it's not going to work. There is a procedure that must be followed, and that procedure is not complete. And until that procedure is complete, a winner will not be decided. As a matter of fact, the way things are going, even that procedure may not decide the winner. It may end up going to the Supreme Court. There's a possibility that the Supreme Court will say, we're going to hand this off to the Congress. So let's go to the Supreme Court for a minute. On the Supreme Court, we have 3 conservative judges for sure. And 3 of those conservative judges got their, let me put it to you this way, 2 of them got their behinds handed to them when they were can't think of the word, when they were brought up for being a justice. Now, Amy Barrett, not quite as bad, but still given a very difficult time. Not as bad as the 2 other guys, but still given a very difficult time. They're going to remember this. They're going to remember this when it comes up. So if they decide that it is brought before them and a decision is made that Donald Trump has won, watch the snowflakes melt, because they won't have a choice. There is ample proof, ample proof, not theory. You know, they keep telling you, if you're on Twitter, if you're on Facebook, if you're on, what was the other one I was on? They couldn't help themselves. One of the other main platforms, they tried to reassert how the legal process is ethical and I can't think of the words, but they're trying to convince people that the voting system that we have there's nothing wrong with the voting system. Yeah. Even when the president makes a statement, they will put a clause in there. This is being disputed or something like that. Or we have the mainstream media literally cut the president off. This is what we've come to. This is what it's come to. When the President of the United States is making a statement backed up by facts, and the mainstream media literally cuts him off and then calls him a liar. Now, for any of you who want to see that, it's up on the Red Pill Reality Show Facebook page. For as long as they let me. Cut him off. Oh, no, we can't have him saying this. What he's saying is not true. What would you call that? That's calling the man a liar. This is what we've come to. This is how brazen these people are. Caught with their hand in the cookie jar, looking and smiling at you, say, no, you don't see it. What are you talking about? There's nothing to see here. Go on. Caught red-handed. All right, so it's just not my word. Let me get, see if I can get Sidney Powell up here. Sidney Powell, former, I think she may still be an attorney for Michael Flynn, also one of the counsels for the president. Let's see if I can get her. I thought we had, let's see if this is it.
I think there are any number of things they need to investigate, including the likelihood that 3% of the vote total was changed in the pre-election voting ballots that were collected digitally by using the Hammer program and a software program called Scorecard. That would have amounted to a massive change in the vote that would have gone across the country and explains a lot of what we're seeing. In addition, they ran an algorithm to calculate votes they might need to come up with for Mr. Biden in specific areas. I think that explains what happened in Michigan, where the computer glitch resulted in a change of votes of about 5,500 in favor of President Trump, just in one of 47 districts. All those districts need to be checked for that same, quote, software glitch, end quote, that would change the result in Michigan dramatically. The same thing is happening in other states. We've had hundreds of thousands of ballots mysteriously appear solely for Mr. Biden, which is statistically impossible as a matter of mathematics. It can all be documented. We are putting it into materials that we will file in federal court, and we need to seek relief in multiple states to enjoin the certification of any election results.
A glitch. Okay, well, here's an area where I have a little bit of an expertise, because I built my first computer. Now I'm really going to reveal my age, and I built my first computer in 1985. It was called a clone back then. The first computer I had was a Commodore. Commodores were user hostile. You had to literally program the computer to do whatever it was that you wanted to do. I had to write my own program. I learned what I needed to learn, and then I wrote the program in order to be able to run it on the Commodore. So the Commodore kind of went by the wayside, and the first ones came out were called PC clones. It is because at that time IBM decided to get into the computer market, and they wanted to enter into the private. Let me back up a minute. It was at that time that the IBM wanted to get into the private home kind of computer market. They already had big computers, but they were into tens of thousands of dollars back then. They wanted to get something that was, quote, more affordable. So they came out with the personal computer. That's what PC stood for. Well, when they came out with it, there was a lot of people that came out with generic, just like when Bayer had their aspirin and the rights were up on it, there was a generic, right? So there were generics, and that's what was my first computer, was a generic IBM PC clone. So with all the years of working with computers, I can tell you that if there's a, quote, glitch, it doesn't affect one specific thing. It affects your whole computer. Think about when you get, if you've ever had a virus on your computer. When you're using your computer, the whole computer either slows down or locks up or does a variety of other things. It doesn't do one specific thing. It doesn't affect one particular thing. It affects everything. That's what a, quote, glitch is, a bug. What they're calling a glitch, that program did exactly what it was supposed to do. There were no malfunctions. It functioned the way that it was programmed. It was programmed to steal votes from one and give it to the other. These programs were written with that specific purpose in mind. They were used in other countries in order to sway elections in other countries. Now, those of you who have been following me for a while know that years ago I said this, and maybe as little as 4 or 5 months ago I said this. No, a little longer than that. There is a law of this universe. You just can't continue doing and doing and doing, especially if that doing is wrong, and expect nothing back. I said many times that what we're doing over there, if we don't stop doing what we're doing, it's going to end up coming back here. And that is exactly what has happened, particularly over the last 4 years. We have had violence over the last 4 years in this country unlike anything I've seen. We have had hatred, manufactured hatred. I would never have, I mean, I know, I have seen how influential the television is, but I never realized just how powerful they are. Manufactured hatred for a man who doesn't take a salary, a man who has more than likely successfully will complete 3 peace accords, a man who has started no new wars, a man who has built our military to the point we're now a world leader once again, a man who has done untold benefits for minorities, particularly people of color, but yet he is villainized over and over and over again. Now, I'll be one of the first to tell you, I don't particularly care about the way he gives his speeches, but it's not something that would cause me not to support him. He's not a politician. You've got to remember, he wasn't brought up in the politics style. He's not smooth with his deliveries. He's not careful to smile all the time and deliver things in such a way that it's pleasant to hear. And that's probably what a lot of people appreciate about him, because you see the man. When he's speaking, that is him. Unlike others, what you see up there on the stage and what happens in the background are night and day. So you just heard Sidney Powell talking about the quote glitch. And I am telling you without question in my mind, having worked with software for decades, it did what it's supposed to do. What needs to happen is we need to go after the people who manufactured these things and the people who program them, because those are the guilty parties. All right, I got some more for Sidney.
Well, joining us tonight is Sidney Powell, a member of President Trump's legal team, General Flynn's defense attorney, a great American and prominent appellate lawyer. Great to have you with us, Sidney. Let's start with Dominion. A straight out disavowal of any claim of fraud against the company, its software or machines. Your reaction?
Well, I can hardly wait to put forth all the evidence we have collected on Dominion, starting with the fact it was created to produce altered voting results in Venezuela for Hugo Chavez, and then shipped internationally to manipulate votes for purchase in other countries, including this one. It was funded by money from Venezuela and Cuba, and China has a role in it also. So if you want to talk about foreign election interference, we certainly have it now. We have staggering statistical evidence. We have staggering testimony from witnesses, including one who was personally in briefings when all of this was discussed and planned, beginning with Hugo Chavez and how it was designed there, and then saw it happening in this country. As soon as the state shut down on election night and stopped counting, those are the states where the most egregious problems occurred. We also need to look at, and we're beginning to collect evidence on the financial interests of some of the governors and secretaries of state who actually bought into the Dominion systems, surprisingly enough. Hunter Biden type graft to line their own pockets by getting a voting machine in that would either make sure their election was successful or they got money for their family from it.
Well, that's straightforward. It may take, you're going to have to be quick to go through and to produce that investigation and the results of it. The December deadlines are approaching for electors, and just as we saw in 2000 with Bush v. Gore, how critical are those deadlines, and how urgent does that make your investigation and discovery?
Well, for fraud this serious, I think even if the states are stupid enough to go ahead and certify the votes where we know the machines were operating and producing altered election results. If they're stupid enough to do that, then they will be set aside by the fraud also. I mean, we are talking about hundreds of thousands of votes. President Trump won this election in a landslide. It's going to be irrefutable, and patriots are coming forward every day, all day, faster than we can collect their information with the testimony they're willing to give under oath about how their votes were stolen and how the machines operated. They were updated the night of the election, sometimes after the election. We've got statistical evidence that shows hundreds of thousands of votes being just put in and replicated. It's going to be, there needs to be a massive criminal investigation, and it's going to affect millions of voters and elections.
With these allegations, these charges, is the FBI already carrying out an investigation of these voting companies where their servers are domiciled? And in at least three instances, we know they're in foreign countries. Tell us where the Justice Department is in all of this.
I wish I knew. I'm not on the inside, so I'm not privy to that information. I know that even Democratic senators and congresspeople for years have reported problems with this system to the FBI and to the government, and nobody's done a blooming thing about it. The people in the election security part of the Department of Homeland Security need to be fired yesterday. They're absolutely ridiculous. Of course, Chris Wray needs to be fired too, because the only FBI interview of any witness was to intimidate him and try to get him to change his truthful testimony 4 hours by an anti-Trump FBI agent. They still have politics infecting the FBI instead of just following the law. We are on the precipice of, this is essentially a new American revolution. And anybody who wants this country to remain free needs to step up right now. These are federal felonies. Altering a vote or changing a ballot is a federal felony. People need to come forward now and get on the right side of this issue and report the fraud they know
I like what she's about to say.
In voting systems, because that's what it was created to do. It was its sole original purpose. It has been used all over the world to defy the will of people who wanted freedom.
Sydney, at the outset of this broadcast, I said that this is the culmination of what has been over a 4-year effort to overthrow this president, to first deny his candidacy, the election, but then to overthrow his presidency. This looks like the effort to carry out an end game in the effort against him. Do you concur?
Oh, absolutely, and it's been organized and conducted with the help of Silicon Valley people, the big tech companies, the social media companies, and even the media companies. And I'm going to release the Kraken.
She's going to release the Kraken. You better watch out. My goodness. Wow. Well, I wonder what the Kraken is. I wonder if the Kraken could be the hard drives. The hard drives from Hunter, the hard drive out of Wiener's laptop. Oh, maybe the hard drives out of the servers for Dominion. I read an article today. I don't know how accurate it is. Not familiar with the source. But supposedly our military went to Germany to confiscate these servers. And we may just find out very shortly the real evidence that we need. According to Sidney Powell, irrefutable. I don't know if you caught her say that word, but irrefutable. That means there's no question. There's no arguing. It would be like trying to argue with somebody about the sun not coming up tomorrow. It would be a waste of time. There's no arguing when it is irrefutable. Hundreds of thousands of votes. Project Veritas has a theory that they may have come across as many as 1.8 million falsified or somehow illegal votes. 1.8 million. You combine that with the information that Sidney Powell has and a couple of other people that are coming forward. That's like a nuclear bomb to go off. A nuclear bomb of information. Irrefutable. I found that very interesting that she used that word. Irrefutable. There won't be any question about what they're going to do. It'll be in your face. It won't be like they're able to get away with right now where they're calling Joe Biden the 46th president. It'll be irrefutable. Can't wait.
You're listening to the Red Pill Reality Show. We'll be right back.
Take the red pill, take the blue pill, take the red pill.
Hey, late nighters, keep up with all things WCET Radio by joining our mailing list. Just go to the bottom of the homepage and fill in the Stay Informed form. Then click the Get Latest News button. You will get everything from guest info and show info and other important station-related information. So sign up now and get a special promo offer just for email subscribers.
Late Nighters, make sure you like and follow WCET Radio and all our shows on social media. Just click the channel you want at the top and bottom of our homepage. Then be sure to share with a friend and ask that friend to do the same. And you become the resistance.
Everywhere you look, people are talking about CBD. That's why it's such an exciting time to experience HempWorks, the best-selling, most in-demand line of premium CBD oil and CBD products for your health and wellness. Founded by entrepreneur, executive, and business coach Janice Wagle, HempWorks premium quality standards can be found from the top down and across the organization. From hemp farms to clean extraction methods to safe bottling, every step in our production process is vetted, monitored, and traceable, literally from the ground up. Thanks to our unique tracking system on the side of every HempWorks CBD tincture, we can track each batch of CBD oil all the way back to the farm it came from, all to ensure that you are offering safe, effective, and high-grade CBD products.
For more information, go to mydailychoice.com/red pill. That's mydailychoice.com/red pill. And you'll find a whole variety of products available for you.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
I guess a duality to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Listen, if I were to ask everybody here and even in the chat room, whoever's listening, what color dress did Monica Lewinsky have when she brought down Bill Clinton? What color was it?
Blue.
That's right. Now think of that word. And what did she do? I'll rest my case. I mean, they do this for us to see who's going to figure this out.
WCET Radio, station ID.
While other stations just talk a good game, we win it.
Hey, sounds like somebody's having a lot of fun.
Take the blue pill. Take the red pill. Take the blue pill. Take the red pill. Take the blue pill. take the red pill, take the blue pill, take the red pill, take the blue pill. You take the red pill, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, 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 take the red. You stay in Wonderland. You stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Goes, 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 goes,
Now, from sunny South Florida, it's the Red Pill Reality Show with your host, Riscala. Every Saturday night from 9 p.m. to midnight. And now, your host, Riscala.
Take the red pill, take the blue pill, take the red pill, take the blue pill.
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin.
And it's beginning already, my friends. You paid any attention to what's going on with the rallies? There was a rally in Washington, D.C. today. And depending upon who you ask, one estimate was 200,000. Another estimate was only 10,000. You look at a picture and you go, come give me a break, 10,000. If you've ever stepped on an ant pile, here in Florida we have these red ants. Oh my God. If you've ever stepped on an ant pile, one of these ant piles, and you see them all coming out, I mean, it just turns into this color of red everywhere. You know, they're everywhere. That's what it looked like in the streets. There were just people everywhere, flooding, saturating the streets. But the mainstream media is trying to play it down. The mainstream media wants you to believe that Joe Biden is the new president. I heard this, I don't know if she's a congresswoman or a senator from Hawaii. Democrat, of course. Whining, complaining, doesn't understand why Donald Trump will not concede. That Joe Biden is the next president and there's nothing you can do about it. Well, yeah, there's a whole lot he's going to be able to do about it because, first of all, he no longer has all of the electoral votes he started out with. He's been reduced. I think the number he got up to was, you know, I love how they do their best to make a strong image. Where did I see it? It was he had 300 and something electoral votes at some count. I don't remember where that was. I saw that. The reality of it is he's down to like 254. I think that's the last number. I may be off a couple here or there, but I think it was 254. And Donald was up to 232, I think. But here's the deal. There is sufficient evidence to show that fraud has been committed. And if you enter into a contract and fraud is knowingly committed, that contract is null and void. So guess whose contract is null and void? The entire election may be up for re-election, or it may be just considered there was enough fraud to prove that Donald Trump won, and there's no question about it. But like I said earlier, even if the Supreme Court turns it over to the Congress, Donald Trump is still the president. So to have people calling Joe Biden the president-elect is just plain inaccurate. In some cases, just a lie. They know better. But they're trying to perpetuate an idea, and that's all it is. It's an idea, a projection. They started out calling him a projected winner, and then it went from projected to, yes, he's the president-elect. So there's things that we can do. There's things that are going to be done. Let me tell you about what we can do. Let me tell you what I did. I don't make friends with some of these people. I'll tell you, oh God, he's back on the phone again, or I sent him, some of them, if they have fax numbers, I send them faxes, or I email them. So I got a hold of the representatives from my state, and I just basically told them, the Republican ones, if you can't stand shoulder to shoulder with our president in defense of what is clearly an action of fraud and dishonesty, then get out of office and let someone who can, because you're not helping us. And if I find that you are, in fact, not standing with the president, I will do everything within my power to convince people not to vote for you again. So they got that message from I'm kind of paraphrasing there, but that basic message, you never get to talk to these people. You always have to leave them a message of some sort. It's pathetic. It's not a government by the people and for the people anymore. And when you see what's going on, when you realize just how corrupt everything is, you could be the most qualified individual. You could have the most money put into your campaign. If the vote counters decide that they don't want you to be who you are, guess what, pal? And that's what we're up against. It's not the voters that are counting anymore. Our votes don't matter. It's the people who are counting the votes. And sadly, the majority of them, it seems to be, in about 5 or 6 states, the majority of them do not like this president, do not come from a clean slate or a level playing field. Everything is skewed towards Joe Biden. And then you have him jumping up and down. Oh my God, he's the new president. And Whoopi, dipstick Whoopi. You just have to suck it up. I wonder how you're going to feel when they tell you, Whoopi, we are not sucking anything up. He is the president, and he has been reelected. Deal with it. They're going to be snowflakes, and we're going to have such a meltdown. We may end up having to have flood warnings. These people are not going to know how to handle this. They've already celebrated. They've already convinced themselves that Joe Biden is the next president. So when they get told the truth slaps them upside the head. Rude awakening kind of thing. Yeah, I bet you how much you want to bet. Because they're saying there's no reason where these problems are occurring in these states. There's no reason for a recount. We don't want a recount. Everything's fine. There's nothing to see here. So there's going to be a recount, whether they like it or not. There's going to be a recount. And as close as things are, it's probably not going to be able to be decided through the recounts. It may have to more than likely end up in the Supreme Court. So if the Supreme Court says Donald Trump is president, they're going to say he cheated. If the Supreme Court passes it off to the Congress, and I told you earlier, the Congress, each state gets one vote, and they have to vote per party line, and we got 37, I think was the last count, Republican governors. Guess what? Guess whose favor it's in? Guess who lost again? These people are going to have a freaking meltdown, like worse than 2016. Because in 2016, it was only hoped that she was going to be the winner. It was never announced that she was the winner and then taken away from her. Now in 2020, The media is doing their best to convince people that he is the president, and they've got some people truly, totally convinced. Sadly, some of them are my friends that I care about. It's truly disheartening to see how powerful. And there's no discussing it. I tried to explain to some of them, no, you don't understand. Whether you like it or not, Donald Trump is no longer the president. Yeah, well, that's not the fact. The fact of the matter is he is the president until the 20th of January of next year. Whether you like it or not, stuff it up your nose. But it's. I talked about the manufactured hatred. It's this manufactured hatred that is, and it has blinded people, some people so badly. It has blinded people so badly. This article I read about the military going to Germany to confiscate the servers, the Dominion servers. Dominion is the people who, these states, a lot of the states, that's whose software is being used in these voting machines. If you follow the money, a lot of it ends up at Soros' doorstep. Now, I'm not positive about Dominion, but I think somewhere along the line he's related somewhere in there, either in the machinery itself. Diebold, I think, is who makes the machinery. I may be wrong about that, but I think maybe he's involved in the machinery, the hardware part. All confidence in the voting system, in my opinion, is gone. We'll never be the America that I believe that we were, unless a serious amount of people end up before a jury for what they've done. They knowingly committed felonies. But my fear is nothing's going to happen. The media is going to convince people that Joe Biden is the president. More and more of this will get pushed under the rug. There'll be greater things to deal with. And this will be left alone again. Just like Sidney Powell was saying, for years we've known about this problem in these particular areas. For years people have complained. For years. And nobody's done anything. There are things that are happening around us that need to be fixed, and because of unrelated things, I find myself in a very frustrated position, because I believe with all my being that this virus and the way that it is being handled is being used more of a tool. It's the perfect tool if you think about it. They can make it, the cases go down, and everybody settles down, and we're getting ready to go back to a normal life, and then all of a sudden, oh, we've got all these cases. It's a bazillion cases. Oh my God, what are we going to do? We have to act fast. We can't let this go on. Oh. Perfect tool. The governor of New York, I believe it is, wants to shut the state down again. I'm hoping and praying that people say, you know what, go pound sand, pal. First of all, to begin with, you never had the authority to do that. Second of all, you did it once. We are not going to let you do it again. The whole purpose of this, whether you want to believe me or not, the whole purpose of this is to put as many small businesses out as they can. The only people that can survive these kind of, quote, lockdowns and these deemed non-essential businesses, the only ones that can survive that are the ones with the deep pockets. Guess who they are? Guess who was open during the lockdowns in my area? All the big corporations. All the little guys? Nah, too bad for you. You're non-essential. Sit and rot on the vine. And for many small business owners like me, because of the way that I handled the payroll in my business, I couldn't qualify for one of those PPP forgivable loans, by the way. They're literally giving the money away, but I didn't qualify, so I couldn't get that. And because of the way they handled the payroll, couldn't get the unemployment. And there are many like me because we're self-employed. So we fall between the cracks, and hey, that's great. That many more we don't have to worry about. And my business, my full-time business, which what I make my living from, I don't make it from the radio, is serving other businesses, other small businesses, little mom and pop businesses. 2/3 of them are gone. They're out of business. They couldn't survive. They didn't have the financial wherewithal to go through this storm. 2/3 of them. What does that reflect upon how many of them across the United States? And now they were talking about another lockdown. And if this man, not that I believe that he could, but if he were to become the president of the United States, he's talking about a nationwide lockdown and a mandate of wearing masks. As a veteran, we celebrated Veterans Day just a couple of days ago. I put a post up on Facebook. As a veteran, I'm offended. I'm offended when the government has the brass to mandate anything. You have to buy insurance. You have to wear a mask. You have to take a shot. That's not their place. But they're getting away with it. And they're getting away with it seemingly more and more by using this COVID as an excuse, as a justification. I don't know how many of you are familiar with a young lady by the name of Chris Ann Hall. She is a constitutional attorney. I have an audio clip I want to play for you here. It's about 5 minutes. This is coming from somebody who studied the Constitution with regard to the masks and a couple of other things. What this person is saying, they have credibility behind them. They have studied for years. She gets a little carried away and a little, I don't want to say emotional, but yeah, in a way she does. And rightly so. Because what they're doing to us, they don't have the right to do. If I came to your home and I took something of yours, wouldn't that upset you? I don't have the right to do that. They don't have, the government has zero rights. Zero. They have no rights. The purpose of the government is delegated authority to defend our rights. Let me before I get off on a rant.
Well, I'm not going to apologize. I have to go on a little rant here for just a minute. So, I'm doing this once and for all and one final time.
Uh-oh.
Okay? Just so I have it, boom, in a segment where we can suck it out and post it as its individual segment so I never have to hear another word about it again. Okay? All right? I don't care if he was Donald Trump's lawyer. I don't care if he was OJ's lawyer. I don't care if he was the Pope's lawyer or Thanos' lawyer. Dershowitz is an idiot. And I'm going to play the video just so you can see it, but also so for a little internal motivation for myself. And you can see what an idiot looks like and sounds like.
Bless his heart.
You can add that, I'm not.
Let me put it very clearly. You have no constitutional right to endanger the public and spread the disease, even if you disagree. You have no right not to be vaccinated. You have no right not to wear a mask.
That's not
you
true.
have no right to open up your business.
Wait, can I stop you? No right not to be vaccinated? Meaning, if they decide you have to be vaccinated, we have to be vaccinated?
Absolutely. And if you refuse to be vaccinated, the state has the power to literally take you to a doctor's office and plunge a needle into your arm. If the vaccination
Where is that in the Constitution?
If the vaccination is designed to prevent the spreading disease. If the vaccination is only to prevent a disease that you will get, for example, if there's a disease that will kill you, you have the right to refuse that, but you have no right to refuse to be vaccinated against a contagious disease. Public health, the police power of the Constitution, gives the state the power to compel that. And
there you have it, people. The magic police power section in the U.S. Constitution. Dershowitz using a 1905, an early 1900 Supreme Court case to tell me that I have no right to say no to a government agent plunging a needle into my body is like some skinhead racist resurrecting Dred Scott and telling every black person in America that you are property. Okay? That's what this Supreme Court case that Dershowitz is running around touting as if it has some frickin' legal authority. It is declaring every person in America government property in which we have no right to say no to something that's going to be forcibly injected into our bodies. He's gonna come up and tell you, you don't have a right to not infect somebody else, and then, because that's not in the Constitution, but then he's going to invent some frickin' language out of the interpretations and extrapolations and premise upon premise and precedent, negative precedent and positive precedent and mental legal gymnastics to try to tell you that some case from the 1900s makes you a piece of meat property in the hands of the government because some police power clause says so. So don't come to me and tell me that because this 1900s Supreme Court case says so, that I don't have a right to say no. That the government, this is what flips me out, JC. The government, he says the government has a right, okay? There's not a single instance in any government, in any constitution here in America that establishes rights for governments. Governments don't have rights. Governments have delegated authorities. And our delegated authorities, go look that word up, Mr. Dershowitz, and find out that that word delegate means a temporary transfer of trust or authority from a higher power to a lower power. And by the very nature of the creation of government, that governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. Please and thank you very much. The consent of the governed is the higher power. The government is the lower power, and it is a temporary transfer or trust of authority, which means, Mr. Dershowitz, that I have the authority to withdraw that temporary transfer or trust because I am the higher power, and that police state that you like so much is the lower power, and your little Supreme Court oligarchy can disagree with me all they want and twice on Sunday, but nobody elected them to be kings and queens and oligarchs, and the Constitution does not establish them with that power. And if you don't believe me, and if you don't agree with that, then shut your mouth because you're a slave.
I'm telling you, we're winning. We have not lost this election by any stretch of the imagination. Now, if you listen to the mainstream media, well, it's all over. Why won't you concede? What's the matter with you Trumpsters? It's done. It's a done deal. It's written in stone. The fact of the matter, and the accuracy of the story is that that's not true. It is not a done deal. It's not done. It won't be done. We still have a couple of more things that have to happen. So make some phone calls. I don't mean just one or two. I mean make some phone calls to your representatives. Demand that there be an audit. Forget a recount. We want an audit. If this thing about the watermark, if you haven't heard, there was a watermark supposedly on on the legitimate ballots. If that's true, then it should be very easy in an audit to find out which are good and which are not. Demand an audit. Forget the recount. We want an audit. We want to know exactly if there is a watermark. We want to know exactly how many illegal ballots were entered into this thing. I saw a meme which is I found funny but sadly true. Biden received more votes than any other president in the history of our country. Votes from dead people. It was unbelievable how many votes this man got from dead people. This is what I'm telling you. The evidence is overwhelming. When you have somebody like Sidney Powell using the word irrefutable, there's not going to be a way out for them. Their best shot right now, their Hail Mary, is a combination of the COVID locking everybody down, causing more damage, causing more emotional harm, causing more financial harm, just harm to everybody. This doesn't do anybody any good to lock down. It doesn't do us a bit of good. Making people wear masks. 85% of the people who wore a mask got this, quote, COVID-19. All of this is just a continuation of an attempted overthrow of a president who was legally elected. And when you remove the fraudulent votes, there was well over 2 million votes that Judicial Watch found in 2016 that were fraudulent. They were non-eligible to be voting for one reason or another. You remove all of that, he won the popular vote on top of the electoral vote, the electrical vote. There's a couple of people I'd like to give an electrical vote to. So if you want to know the truth, then what you'll have to do is turn the damn TV off. The MSNBC, the CBS, the ABC, the NBC, Fox News. These are people who cut the president off in the middle of a statement and called him a liar. Called him a liar. Go to Newsmax. Go to Next News Network. Go to One America News. Get off of these major platforms. Get off of Facebook. I will eventually be completely off of Facebook. I'm biding my time there to let people know we're moving. We're probably going to end up in Parler. But I'm tired of giving these people credit and energy as they literally censor us. They spit in our face and tell us it's raining. Come on. And now we have an option. You have a way to retaliate, if you will, and that is to tell them, see you bye, and go somewhere else. If it's not Parler, you can get on, oh my gosh, there's MeWe, there's Parler, and there's a couple of others. I just slipped my mind right now because I don't use them that often yet. But there's other platforms now that are available that are neutral, that if you don't like the president, you're allowed to say you don't like the president. And if you do like the president, guess what? You're allowed to say you like the president. And if you think that the voting was done fraudulently, you're allowed to say that without having something pop up and say this goes against our community standards, or this post is in dispute. It's disgusting on Twitter what I see, how the president, they do that too. He's not allowed to make any comment about the electoral system or anything without them putting something about, well, the electoral system is great or it's the best thing since sliced bread. You know, it's garbage. And if he said, God forbid, if he says there's something about the fraud, well, hasn't been proven. Oh yeah, you know what hasn't been proven? Joe Biden, president number 46. That hasn't been proven. So why do you continue to refer to him in that manner? They've actually removed the presidential significance, I can't think of the right word, under Donald Trump's name and made him a political candidate. He's the president of the United States, whether you like it or not. You can go pound sand. And he's the president of the United States at least until January 20th. And if I'm not mistaken, and I feel very accurate that I am absolutely sure, after January 20th, well, let's see. January 20th, 2021.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States
the office of President of the United States
and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend
the
Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Oh, yeah. It's coming. It's coming. I hope you're prepared. Going to be a lot of meltdowns. We may even have a flood alert. Make sure you got a canoe ready or maybe a raft or something. Going to be a lot of crying. You think it was bad in 2016? Holy smokes, man. Going to be a lot of people just, like I said, they're already celebrating. He's already known to be the new president. Oh, oh my God. I don't know. Don't know. I'm just envisioning some of these people literally melting down, not knowing how to deal with it after they've been promised. But you promised. You told me he was the president. You love how he's attempting to get things like working with the intelligence agencies and the current president said, no. You nothing's been decided yet. You're still a private citizen. He's talking with world leaders about possible foreign policy. You're not supposed to do that, pal. You're not the president. I don't care what the media says. The media doesn't get to elect the president, thank God. This is what we're up against. So today we had rallies all over the place. One was here in Florida, not too far from where I'm at. I don't know, maybe we had several in Florida, I'm not sure. But I know one of them turned out to be a pretty big one. Wasn't maybe 1,000 people down here in South Florida. But the one in D.C. now, again, depends on who you talk to. One person said, I think it was close to 300,000 people. That's amazing. That is amazing, if that's true. I don't know. These are the numbers that I've heard, that I've read, that I've seen online. It's difficult to get something accurate anymore because you never know. Some people want to exaggerate it to make it look better, not understanding that it actually hurts everybody. Other people want to reduce what, it's like when the rioters were burning everything down and the reporters standing there going, well, they're mainly peaceful, Yeah, right. So there's people who want to reduce the numbers as best as they can within reality to try to make it look, not as good as it really is. So somewhere in between all of that is the reality. So I'm thinking at least 100,000 people showed up. And from what I understand, there's a caravan of trucks that are on the way to Washington, D.C. I don't know if they've made it yet or not, but there's also a caravan of trucks. Think about this. Who else have you ever heard in your life? Who else had a caravan of cars? I think it was over 90 miles. I think it was 93, but I know it was over 90 miles long. A caravan of cars in support of the president. And you're going to tell me that it was a close run. No, it wasn't a close run. It wasn't a red wave. It was a red tsunami. We blew them away. They were going, why do you think they shut down? They couldn't manufacture the ballots fast enough, so they had to shut down so that they could stop counting everything and manufacture ballots. It's all going to come out. They ain't going to like it. Yep, we're going to be back to the ones who are, you know that song, right? You know what I'm talking about? That one. Yeah, that one. We're all winning. I love it when we win. And that's kind of what's headed our way. Now, one of the things that this man is known for, Donald Trump, his promises made, promises kept, right? He gave his word that he was going to do this, that, and the other. And I would say realistically, probably 95, maybe 98% of what he said has happened. In comparison to other politicians, when they do maybe 10%, you're lucky. Now, I'm sure that there's some of the stuff that he wasn't able to do is probably so much resistance from the other side, he wasn't able to do it quick enough. Given the time, I'm sure he can do it. He's done some amazing things. I don't agree with everything, but I do agree that he has done some amazing things. I do agree that he has outshined any president in the history of this country. I don't care who it is. He has done a better job than any of them. But there are people who dislike him because of the way he may speak or because of something he may have said 20 frickin' years ago. Or they'll call him a racist or a xenophobe or some other thing, but they have no idea. If he's truly a racist, why has he helped so many people of color? Just to make himself look good? If you're a racist, you don't give a damn. If he's a misogynist, why has he been around women the majority of his life, and yet we don't see women coming out by the droves accusing him of doing bad things? How many women has he got currently? Currently, how many women does he have in his administration? Compare that to other administrations. So if he's a misogynist, why does he have all these women? Misogynist, from what I understand, I mean, I may be wrong, but what I understand, misogynists despise women. They don't like women. Women are an object. It doesn't seem to be that way with this man. He's an Islamophobist. Is that true? You better check and see how many Islamophobists are in his... How many people from Islam are in his cabinet? He has Muslims within his cabinet. Not his cabinet, his administration. Anything that they can say in order to be derogatory against this man, they will, even if it's a blatant lie. And the sad truth of all of this is I'm witnessing now the manufactured hatred coming to fruition with these people to the point where they literally do have some kind of an issue with this man. And they absolutely cannot stand the idea that he is the President of the United States, that he has done an outstanding job. Outstanding job. Some of the evidence of that is we have $2 a gallon gas, generally speaking, all around the United States. In some places I've seen, one of my friends, I think, where was he at? One of my friends on Facebook was teasing us, paying $1.75 a gallon. When have you heard of anything like that? Why? Why is it like that? Who is responsible for that? Do you want to believe that Obama is responsible for that? Obama is responsible for almost $5 a gallon, Obama and Biden, because they made us dependent upon other countries to get our fuel. Donald Trump moved in and said, we're not having that anymore. We've got enough fuel. As a matter of fact, whether you people know it or not, this country has enough fuel reserves, far larger than Saudi Arabia, far greater than Saudi Arabia has. But yet it was left untapped purposely. Why? So that they could force this country to buy the fuel from them, and then they get to skim a little bit of that, you see? They get to make a little bit of money off of that every time they make a purchase. $2 a gallon, generally speaking, around the United States. Go back 4 years ago. What was it 4 years ago before Donald Trump took over? I guarantee you it wasn't $2 freaking. I remember the days of paying well over $3 a gallon here in South Miami. It really ticked me off. So if you don't want a president to stand for life, he doesn't stand for abortion, he stands for life. If you don't like a president that hasn't started any new wars and wants to bring the troops home, if you don't care for a president that has helped this country financially far more than any other president, maybe even more than presidents put together, if you don't like the idea that we have a president who is able to produce peace talks, unheard of, 3 different contracts going down, you don't like any of that, then you shouldn't support President Trump. But I got news for you. The majority of us, we recognize what this man has done. And you're seeing the testimony to that on days like today. According to the other side, the election is over. This man has lost. Why are you people celebrating? Because we know something. We know that it's a lie. We know that the mainstream media is doing the very best that they can. They're in an absolute, without question, panic. They are in an absolute panic. And they will do anything that they can to try to convince people. And sadly, there will be people who have been convinced. And then when the gavel comes down and the decision is said, they're going to absolutely lose their you-know-what. Not going to be able to deal with it. There are so many people's, let me back up a minute. There are so many wealthy people whose lives are on the line because of this man, Donald Trump. If he succeeds into the second, and he will, succeeds into the second term, he will be more powerful than he was in the first term. He's already instructed his Attorney General to begin investigating fraudulent activities within the voting industry. I have tweeted this to him several times. I don't know if he'll ever answer. But I am disappointed in Donald Trump. And my disappointment isn't in his ability to do the work or the work that he's done. All of that is excellent. I may not agree with everything he's done, but the work that he's done is excellent. No, where I'm disappointed is how he's allowed these people to just run him over. I don't know, maybe he can't defend himself any more than he already is. I don't know, but I am disappointed that the mainstream media can cut the President of the United States off mid-statement and then call him a liar. And yet there is little to no retaliation from the administration. Maybe, again, I'm ignorant in a lot of this stuff. Maybe he doesn't have that authority. I don't know. Just me. I'd get on the phone with the FCC and say, hey, we got a problem. And you better fix it quick. When I make a statement, I don't give a damn whether they think it's false or not. I get to make my statement. People, hundreds of, if not millions of people have died in this country to protect people's right to speak. And when you're the President of the United States, to be called a liar on a mainstream broadcast while you're spewing out truth is unacceptable. And I believe it's showing. Because there are people leaving Fox News by the droves. They also happen to cut off his... I always have a problem with this young girl's name. My gosh. Kaylee... The young blonde-haired lady that is the White House spokeslady. Oh, my gosh. I'll think of it later. McEnany. They cut her off, too. Because she was questioning. She was stating facts. about what was going on with regard to the voting. They didn't like that. They don't want to hear that. They don't want you to hear that. It's not their place. Their place is to present you with the news. See, this hasn't happened in so long. People think this is okay. It's not okay. Their place is to give you the news. The news is not, let's see. The president's lying, so we're not going to let him talk to you right now. We're just going to continue to talk as he's given his speech until we've talked enough so he's run his time out, and then we'll let him say something else that's not related to what he's saying right now, which is a lie. And we don't want you to know that lie. It's not their place. If there were true journalists, they would allow him to say anything. Then they could give their opinion afterwards. But they wouldn't certainly cut him off midstream in the process of placing a statement out to the country. That's what we're up against. That's what he's up against. He has said on many occasions, the media is your enemy. He is not kidding. The media has manufactured hate for him. The media has villainized him. The media has got people to dislike him for no other reason than just watching and listening to the media. Okay, I'm going to read a statement from Donald Trump. I have a statement from the President, Donald J. Trump. We all know why Joe Biden is rushing to falsely pose as the winner and why his media allies are trying so hard to help him. They don't want the truth to be exposed. The simple fact is this election is far from over. Joe Biden has not been certified as the winner in any states, let alone any of the highly contested states headed for mandatory recounts, or states where our campaign has valid and legitimate legal challenges that could determine the ultimate victor. In Pennsylvania, for example, our legal observers were not permitted meaningful access to watch the counting process. Legal votes decide who is president, not the news media. Beginning Monday, our campaign will start prosecuting our case in court to ensure election laws are fully upheld and the rightful winner is seated. The American people are entitled to an honest election. That means counting all legal ballots and not counting any illegal ballots. This is the only way to ensure the public has full confidence in our election. It remains shocking that the Biden campaign refuses to agree with this basic principle and wants ballots counted even if they are fraudulent, manufactured, or cast by ineligible or deceased voters. Only a party engaged in wrongdoing would unlawfully keep observers out of the courtroom and then fight in court to block their access. So what is Biden hiding? I will not rest until the American people have the honest vote count they deserve and that democracy demands. President Donald J. Trump.
There is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission. We will control the horizontal. We will control the vertical. We can change the focus to a soft blur or sharpen it to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit quietly and we will control all that you see and hear. You are about to participate in a great adventure. You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to the outer limits.
There are facts we're not being told on TV, so I want to talk to you about gun control in America. Why did all of the big media focus their attention on the attacks in Orlando and completely ignore the fact that the following weekend 52 people were shot in Chicago, a city with some of the strictest gun control laws in the country? There seems to be an agenda for gun control while ignoring the gun violence in other cities and countries where the experiment of gun control is already underway and failing. I carry a gun because there are only two types of creatures on this planet, predators and prey. No one watches a cheetah chase down a gazelle and deny that the gazelle has the right to use its horns to protect itself. But there are people who would deny that same right of self-defense to other human beings. Such people seem to think that the way to stop the cheetah is to cut the horns off the gazelle. That somehow, if you make it easier for the predator will simply go away. It doesn't work that way. If you make it easier for the predator, you get more predators. I carry a gun because when predators know they're less likely to have an advantage, they're less likely to be a predator. The FBI found that when states allow concealed carry, murder rates are immediately reduced. And cities in America that pass a law requiring households to have a firearm see the number of home invasions drop dramatically. I carry a gun because the ratio a gun is used in a homicide is significantly less than when it's used in self-defense. Firearms are used up to 300 times more often to save innocent lives than to commit a murder, and guns prevent up to 2.5 million crimes in the U.S. every year, often without a single shot ever being fired. I carry a gun not because it's a weapon, but because it's a shield. 200,000 women every year use a gun to defend themselves against sexual abuse. I carry a gun because almost every mass shooting in the last 50 years took place in a gun-free zone. Law-abiding citizens are forced to give up their right to protect themselves, while every criminal breaks the law, including gun-free signs, when they decide to murder. I carry a gun because a gun-free zone makes it easier for predators to target their prey. Stricter gun laws make the problem worse, and making guns illegal wouldn't remove murder from our cities any more than making heroin illegal stop addicts from doing drugs. I carry a gun because the facts are nations with strict gun control laws have significantly higher murder rates than those that don't. I carry a gun because I know in the U.S. scissors and knives kill almost 5 times more people every year than rifles do, including the AR-15 and other so-called assault rifles. Calling to ban a tool will not resolve the problem. I carry a gun because criminals break the law with or without them. The 9/11 terrorists used box cutters in airplanes. Timothy McVeigh used bags of assault fertilizer. I understand that some people want to blame things like semi-automatic rifles, 30-round magazines, hate crimes, terror threats, gun control, historic flags, national security, religion, or illegal immigration. I understand we want to blame something, anything that we can control. But don't blame me because I carry a concealed gun to protect my family. I understand we need to start addressing what we really want to ban: violence, murder, and insanity. I carry a gun because I know who's pushing to ban them. Our right to bear arms is not there simply to protect us against lowly criminals. I know the politicians know this, which is why they call for gun control instead of crime control. I carry a gun because I've seen gamblers who want more winnings, alcoholics who want more alcohol, and people with power want more power. I understand what the Founding Fathers knew, that the right to bear arms is there to protect the American people from those drunk with power, and I understand every country was free before it wasn't. I carry a gun because having the right to bear arms gives the citizens of this great nation a fighting chance against the predators of greed and power, whether in our home, our capital, or our neighboring lands. Evil exists only because too many good people stand by and do nothing. I know seeing America's right to free speech was a chilling wake-up call when it became locked away in a zone. That's why so many steadfast Americans and great organizations stand up for the people to keep the balance of power from tipping over. I carry a gun because it removes the unfair advantage between predators and prey. I don't carry because I'm looking for a fight. I carry a gun because I'm looking to be left alone. People can only persuade you to do something by one of two ways: reason or force. Having a gun with me removes their option to make me do something by force. It helps keep predators civilized. That's why the right to bear arms is important. That's why I own a firearm, and that's why I'm proud to say I carry a gun.
I can read your mind. We ain't about to get along, and I know why. You think we owe you when we don't. Yeah, there's a welfare line wrapping round Main Street. That money ought to help our boys coming back from overseas. We're gonna paint this country red like Reagan. Gonna shoot our guns, gonna eat our bacon. There's a great big bald eagle who's smiling on us, and soldiers who died for your privilege to fuss. If you wanna leave, you can't take it no more, and I'll show you the damn door. I'll show you the damn door. And all these protests, you're throwing out some heavy words, and I'm just wondering, how the hell'd you get off work? 'Cause I got 65 long hours that I just put in last week. Now I gotta go back home, hear you whining on TV. We're about to paint this country red like Reagan. Gonna shoot our guns, gonna eat our bacon. There's a great big bald eagle who's smiling can't take it no more, and I'll show you the damn door. We're about to paint this country red like Reagan gonna shoot our guns and eat that bacon. There's a great big bald eagle who's smiling on us, and soldiers who died for your privilege to fuss if you want to leave, 'cause you can't take it no more. And I'll show you the damn door. I'll show you the damn door. Get out.
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin.
All right, you are listening to the Red Pill Reality Show. I am your host, Riscala. A big thank you to all you who take time to let me share with you some of these things that I run across. So, one of the things that stands out in my mind is when people's attention seem to be drawn to one thing. You know, when the central spotlight, if you will, spotlight of information, spotlight of attention seems to be around one thing, or maybe one or two things, that there's something else is going on in the background. I had one of the listeners, maybe listening tonight, if you are, I won't say your name, thank you, send me a letter of concern about something that's happening in Canada. Now, they have our attention here in the United States on most predominantly the election that just occurred, but secondarily the COVID. So while they have our attention focused on this, it would be easy, very easy, to shuffle something else in under the radar, if you will. And I thought this was rather concerning, so I want to share it with you. This is several minutes long. Starts out, Dear Riscala, I want to provide you some important information. I am a committee member with the Liberal Party of Canada. I sit within several committee groups, but the information I am providing is originating from the Strategic Planning Committee, which is steered by the PMO. I need to start off by saying that I am not happy doing this, but I have to, because as a Canadian and more importantly as a parent, I must, because I want a better future not only for my children but other children as well. The other reason I am doing this is because roughly 30% of the committee members are not pleased with the direction this will take Canada, but our opinions have been ignored and they plan on moving forward toward their goals. They have also made it very clear that nothing will stop the planned outcomes. The roadmap and aim was set out by the PMO and is as follows. Phase in secondary lockdown restrictions on a rolling basis, starting with major metropolitan areas first and expanding outward, expected by November of 2020. Rush the acquisition or the construction thereof isolation facilities across every province and territory. That is expected by December of 2020. The daily new cases of COVID-19 will surge beyond capacity of testing, including increases in COVID-related deaths following the same growth curves. That is expected by the end of this month, November 2020. Complete and total secondary lockdown, much stricter than the first and second rolling phase restrictions, expected by the end of December 2020, January 21. Reform and expansion of the unemployment program to be transitioned into the Universal Basic Income program, expected by the first quarter of 21. Projected COVID-19 mutation and or co-infection with secondary virus, referred to now and will be as COVID-21, leading to a third wave which with much higher mortality rate and higher rate of infection is expected by February of 21. Daily new cases of COVID-21 hospitalizations and COVID-19 and COVID-21 related deaths will exceed medical care facilities capacity, expected by the second quarter of 21. Enhanced lockdown restrictions, referred to as third lockdown, will be implemented. Full travel restrictions will be imposed, including inter-province and intercity. That is expected by the second quarter of 21. Transitioning of individuals into the Universal Basic Income program is expected by the second quarter of 2021. Projected supply chain breakdowns, inventory shortages, large economic instability, expected late second quarter of 21. Deployment of military personnel into major metropolitan areas as well as all major roadways to establish travel checkpoints. Restrict travel and movement, provide logistical support to the area, expected by the third quarter of 21. Along with that provided roadmap, the Strategic Planning Committee was asked to design an effective way of transitioning Canadians to meet unprecedented economic endeavor, one that would change the face of Canada and forever alter the lives of Canadians. What we were told was that in order to offset what was essentially an economic collapse on an international scale, that the federal government was going to offer Canadians a total debt relief. This is how it works. The federal government will offer to eliminate all personal debts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, etc., which all funding will be provided by Canada and the IMF under what will become known as the World Debt Reset Program. In exchange for acceptance of this total debt forgiveness, the individual would forfeit the ownership of any and all property and assets forever. The individual would also have to agree to partake in the COVID-19 and COVID-21 vaccination schedule, which would provide the individual with unrestricted travel and unrestricted living even under a full lockdown through the use of a photo identification referred to as Canada's Health Pass. Committee members asked who would become the owner of the forfeited property and assets in that scenario, and what would happen to the lenders or the financial institutions. They were simply told the World Debt Reset Program will handle all of the details. Several committee members also questioned what would happen to individuals if they refused to participate in the World Debt Reset Program or Health Pass, or the vaccination schedule, and the answer that we got was very troubling. Essentially, we were told it was our duty to make sure we came up with a plan to ensure that would never happen. We were told that it was in the individual's best interest to participate. When several committee members pushed relentlessly to get an answer, we were told that those who refused would first live under the lockdown restrictions indefinitely, and that over a short period of time, as more Canadians transitioned into the debt forgiveness program, the ones who refused to participate would be deemed a public safety risk and would be relocated into isolation facilities. Once in those facilities, they would be given two options: participate in the debt forgiveness program and be released, or stay indefinitely in the isolation facility under the classification of a serious public health risk and have all of their assets seized. So as you can imagine, after hearing all of this, it turned into quite a heated discussion and escalated beyond anything I've ever witnessed before. In the end, it was implied by the PMO that the whole agenda will move forward no matter who agrees with it or not. That it won't just be Canada, but in fact all nations will have similar roadmaps and agendas, that we need to take advantage of the situations before us to promote change on a grander scale for the betterment of everyone. The members who were opposed and ones who brought up the key issues that would arise from such a thing were completely ignored. Our opinions and our concerns were ignored. We were simply told to just do our job. All I know is that I don't like it. I don't think it's going to place Canadians into a very bright future, and it looks dark for all of us. This is what they have planned for the whole world. It's already starting here. It's already starting in other countries. The new wave has already hit. New York, I think, is going down on lockdown. I may have mentioned that earlier. California. California's already started the nonsense. Do you know that there are places in New York that you can't have more than X amount of people in your home? In your home, in your domicile, in the place that you call your personal kingdom, in the place that is supposed to be the most sacred of all places in your life, your home. This is where we're headed. When they can cut the president off mid-sentence, mid-statement, and call the president a liar. When they can take the title of the president down and call him a candidate, and then call an illegitimate man the president, and have the world welcome him as the new president of the United States, all through the media. All because of the power that the media has. I think that this is going to help expose just how crooked and how criminal these people are. Because I totally believe 100% without any doubt in my mind, there was an absolute landslide for President Trump. I call it a tsunami. I think it was far greater than a landslide. And it will be proved. I think that when I hear words like irrefutable coming from someone like Sidney Powell, well known in her industry, she's a little bulldog. She don't take no crap. Irrefutable. Overwhelming evidence. Irrefutable. There's no way for him to have this election stolen from him. They're going to look quite bad. And they're claiming now let's just have unity. Let's heal the country. Let's everybody just come together. You know, for 4 years, we've been all over you and called you every name that we could think of. But we want all that to go away now. We want to all be friends. We have our new president. It's going to be a bright future for us. Watch what happens when that, quote, new president is kicked out on his can. Excuse me, I also ran across a video. And let me encourage you guys to do something, by the way, while I'm thinking about it. Figure out, it's not hard, figure out how to download videos from YouTube and some of these other places, Twitter and Facebook. I think I've gotten a couple of them off of Rumble. There's a bunch of different places that has videos. There's different ways that you can download these videos. The reason that you want to do that is because a lot of times the videos are there, they're taken down. If If they go against the agenda and they have any credibility with them, then they're typically taken down. The one that comes to mind, the most common one that comes to mind, is the one with the doctors. We had doctors, there was about a dozen of them, on the steps of the Supreme Court testifying, trying to get people to not be so afraid, saying that they had developed a cure. Oh, but that was a major mistake. They said that nasty C, the four-letter C word, cure, C-U-R-E. Pharmaceutical companies go nuts when you're talking about cures. So anyway, they were saying there's no reason to be afraid. We've used this hydrochloroquine, and we are on the front line, and we're treating patients with this, and we've had 100% recovery rate, 100% recovery rate. They had treated up to 350 people at that point, I think. 100% recovery rate. They also testified that the use of the HCQ could act as an insulator, if you will, against the virus. It doesn't allow the virus to take hold in your body and is eventually just flushed out of your body. Within hours, they were censored. They were taken down. Within 24 hours, their website was taken down. That's the kind of thing you expect from a third world country. But then again, when you literally cut the president off mid-statement, then call him a liar. So learn how to download videos. I have, and it's already been scrubbed on one site, I have videos of short clips of Hunter Biden, doing some very inappropriate things with some very young women. Short clips, maybe 5 seconds, 6 seconds, enough to see who it is and what's happening. I just got another one. This one's directly, looks like it's from China. I don't know if they have YouTube in China, but it looks like a YouTube channel out of China. And the man's speaking Chinese, but it's being translated in text in English on the screen. And according to this man who is giving this information out, there's a lot more coming, my friends. There are, if he's telling the truth, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be, but apparently there are copies of the hard drives, and the information on those hard drives has been given to the President of the United States. The President, not the make-believe guy. They've been given to Donald Trump. And there are all kinds of incriminating evidence on these hard drives. And part of the incriminating evidence is this COVID thing that we're going through, how it was manufactured and the purpose of it and all of that, documented. So that is another ace in the hole, if he's telling the truth, that the president has. Now, I've called, again, you don't get to talk to these people, so it's like spitting in the wind. I've called my representatives and asked if any of them could confirm about the watermark. Nobody's answered me. So I don't know if the watermark is real or not. The person who gave out the information, Steve Pachenik, is well known to have been involved in the Intel community many years ago. He's an author. He's a couple of different things. I don't see any reason why he would say something just to get attention. He's going to get 5 minutes of attention for saying what he said. He just doesn't strike me as that kind of person. I think that what he said is accurate. I'm just not able to confirm it. Now, if what he said is true, and I believe him, then that's yet another option that they have, to scan these ballots for the real ones against the fake ones. So when you lay it all out and you put it on a scale, you'll see on the side of the scale that is weighed down heavily is the side of Donald Trump. All the evidence points to this man won in a landslide, a huge landslide, more than likely more votes than any other president in the history. Let me back up a minute. More legal votes than any other president in the history of our country, before all is said and done. the war will continue until the people who are creating the war are taken down. It is my opinion that anybody who was involved in this fraudulent activity should suffer the maximum consequence of the law. No mercy for the damage that they have done. I don't know if anybody will have any confidence in our electoral system ever again. This is ridiculous what they have done. And it is sad. I have always had my suspicions, but this is just blatantly in your face. It would be difficult at best to say that there's not been some kind of a compromisation of some sort within the system, that the numbers that are coming back are not accurate. Just simply not true. And how many people now in the future that comes up are going to say, well, why bother? If that's not the one who they want to win, he's not going to win. I truly hope, I really do, I truly hope that as we progress down the road, that the people who have caused this pay the price. Okay, I played Red Like Reagan. I think that was the name of the song. Red Like Reagan? Yeah, I think that was it. That's Buddy Brown. Buddy gave me permission to play that song. YouTube and anybody else that wants to fight me on it, I got a letter of permission to play that song, you worms. Oh, we catch so much grief. We've got a couple of people have given me some permission to play some of their music. Let me see if I can find this. Is some reggae music. We'll do things a little different tonight. All this insanity going on. Let's see if we can pick it up a little bit. If I can find it here. This is somebody called Hosni Bronx. A little reggae.
I don't need you to be free. This world is in emergency. Some people pay the price. We need a new solution. Give us a new decision. In this hypocrite world. Our life is not this conclusion. I feel so bad in me in this world. We live to feel this frustration. They are so bad with us. I don't need you to be free. It's a new time for a new day. We have to move forward. We must as a people. I need your love and your prayer. My God, give us a new chance. A new chance. We don't want to
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of my ability.
And will, to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
I believe in you, in our love. Make your revolution. The world is dangerous every way. The world is dangerous for all.
About our inalienable rights. They're endowed to us by our Creator God, the Creator God of the Judeo-Christian faith heritage, not by man. And those rights are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The pursuit of happiness for so many Americans has been taken away from them by the virus of tyranny. But the good thing, America, is that we've been there before. And 245 years ago, our founding fathers found the cure for tyranny. It was called liberty. And perhaps it is time for us to have an inoculation of the vaccine of liberty in order to defeat the virus of tyranny.
Our life is not competition. I don't want to live in another country. This world is only destruction.
Meet with scientists. We see a lot of things that are going very well. Things like reducing childhood death and reducing childhood death, improving the nutrition. So.
I don't need you to be free. You're living in me, Jaja. Just treat our life don't matter. If you don't want to serve a fight, whoa, for the new generation. My people live under your sun. I can't even beg you.
Well, I just tell you this, Roger Stone was treated very unfairly. Paul Manafort, the Black Book, turned out to be a fraud. We learned that out during the various last number of weeks and months. They had a Black Book that came out of Ukraine, turned out to be a fraud. They convicted a man, turned out to be a fraud. General Flynn was a highly respected person, and it turned out to be a scam on him. The FBI said he didn't lie. And Mueller's people wanted him to go to jail. Okay? So what am I going to do? You'll find out what I'm going to do. I'm not going to say what I'm going to do. But I will tell you, the whole thing turned out to be a scam. And it turned out to be a disgrace to our country. And it was a takedown of a duly elected president. And these people suffered greatly. General Flynn, I mean, what they did to him. And even the FBI said, and they had some, and nobody bigger fan of the FBI than me at the level of the people that really matter. But the top of the FBI was scum. And what they did to General Flynn, and you know it, and everybody knows it, was a disgrace. He was in the service for over 30 years. He ends up being a general and respected. And almost his first day in office, they come in with papers. They want to investigate it.
All right, a little bit of reggae, a little bit of mix in the background there, some of the stuff that the president has said, some of the clips that I have arranged. Hold on to your seats, because I think we're in for a bumpy ride. I think the proverbial feces is going to hit the rotating blades very shortly here. And I think that on the 20th of January 21, we will be witnessing the re-election come to fruition and President Trump taking his oath once again for another 4 years. You know what really get the liberals going? I think if we start pushing, I don't know that they would do it, but start pushing for Ivanka and Candace. Ivanka Trump and Candace Owens. What a pair that would be, huh? Oh, my goodness gracious. I don't know who would be president and who would be vice president, but that would just drive the liberals absolutely bonsai nuts. They wouldn't know how to deal with themselves. Oh, but, you can always dream, right? Nothing wrong with having a dream. I can just see that happening. So anyway, our attention is being drawn on two primary things that I see right now, the election and this COVID-19. But in the background, what else is going on? And this letter that I read to you from one of the listeners in Canada is concerning, because I have read from two other sources. This is going on in other countries. This is the plan. I have friends of mine who believe in this, what do they call it? Nasara, something like that, where there's going to be a reset. All your debts are going to be forgiven. And then I get a letter like this and says, that's just kind of, what they've been saying. But what they've been saying is your debts are forgiven and you get to, go on with your life. And when I first heard of that, I said, that's not the way things have always worked. But you get your debts forgiven. There's a catch. Somewhere in there's a catch. But it's supposed to be a forgiveness, a year of Jubilee. According to the Bible, it was like every 7 years they would have this year of Jubilee where everybody's debts were forgiven and you get to start over again. I don't know. All I can tell you is I get a letter like this, and this is from somebody who sits on one of the committees, and they're telling me it doesn't matter what we want. These people are hell-bent on making this happen, and what they're talking about making happen is not good. And what better time to try to sneak some of this stuff through than right now, while all our attention on the don't steal don't steal the vote, don't steal the election, don't. All about the fraud and how everything is up in arms about that. And then we've got the secondary. Now we've got the wave coming in with the COVID, and we've got all these people. Oh my God, all these people have tested positive. We're going to have to lock down again. We're going to. If you can't see that what is being perpetually driven is fear, be afraid, be constantly afraid. It's one of the worst conditions that a human being can be in, is to be in fear, constant fear. Your stress level goes up. Your cortisol levels go up. Everybody's body has different ways of dealing with stress. The single root of all disease, no matter what disease it is, the single root is stress on the body. Everybody's ability to deal with stress is different. But the single root of all disease is stress. If you are under a manner of stress constantly, your immune system is being under attack unbelievably. And then, God forbid, you come in contact with this virus. Now, for a lot of us, this virus is no big deal. For a small group in the population, it could be. I mean, their survival rate is down to 94.6%. But for the rest of us, it's 99% or better. So if your immune system is functioning properly and you get it, you probably don't even know you got it. Got it, your system flushed it out, and you just moved on with life. For that, they want to lock down the country? For that, they want to tell people that you can't go to work? Almost 500,000 people last year died of cigarettes. Almost 500,000, 480,000 people. With an additional 25,000 that died from secondhand smoke. It wasn't any fault of theirs. They just happened to be around people who were smoking. 25,000 innocent people weren't doing anything wrong, just around wrong place at the wrong time, died from cigarette cancer because they were around people who smoked cigarettes. 480,000 people died from cigarettes. These aren't my figures. Come from the CDC. 480,000. They're claiming there's about 200 and some odd thousand that have died from this COVID-19 so far this year. Why didn't they stop people from smoking cigarettes? They didn't make anybody wear a mask. Hey, listen, if this guy's smoking, you need to wear a mask. They didn't do anything like that because it's not about your health. It's about the ability to control you. It's about the limitations that they can see, where they can draw the lines or not. How far can we push them? Well, there's going to have to come a time when you draw a line, my friends, because there are people now who are attempting at every opportunity that they have to literally overthrow this country. Literally. There is no time other than now that I can tell you how important it is that you make a firm stand. You contact your representatives. Bug the snot out of them. Don't allow them. If you have to, I don't know the term, I think it's blowing up their phone. Some of these new terms I don't get along with, but anyway, yeah, blow up their phone. You know what I mean. I don't mean like literally blow up their phone. Cause so many calls to come in that their phone never stops ringing. Email them. I'm not talking one or two. Get a bunch of you to start emailing them on a regular basis. We demand. We're not asking. We demand an audit. I want an audit. I don't want a recount. Screw the recount. I want an audit. I want people to go through each individual ballot and determine is that legal or not. The recount is just going to recount the ballots all over again. You know, unless it stands out like a sore thumb that it's illegal, big deal. An audit is a little different. Demand an audit. Because I think if they did that, then you would see the proof would be there. There was a tsunami. There was no wave. There was no red wave. It was a freaking tsunami. It was an unbelievable landslide. How many boat parades did you see for Biden? How many parades did you see for Biden? How many people did you see show up at a Biden rally? How many parades did you see for Trump? How many boat parades have you seen for Trump? How many people have you seen showing up at a Trump rally? The difference is night and day. Night and day. It's like comparing a basketball to a ping pong ball. The amount of people showing up at a Trump rally is a basketball size. The amount of people showing up at a Biden rally at best is a ping pong ball. At best. Probably more like a marble size. And yet they want you to believe that it was a close run. But Biden pulled it through. Biden did it. At the last moment, he did it. If you believe that, I feel sad for you because you've been deceived. You've been lied to. Most of the people I know don't like being lied to. They don't like being deceived. They would rather have the truth, whether they agree with it or not. They would rather know the truth. So here's the truth. Donald Trump has not been reelected as the president. That's the truth. Joe Biden is not the 46th president. That is the truth. There has been no winner determined in the presidential election as of right now. That is the truth. Anything different than that is simply not accurate. Don't allow the media to try to convince you of something that is not true. Don't allow the media to try to sway you into giving up and saying, okay, well, it's all over. There's no point. Because it is simply not true. All right, let me see if I can get this. I've got this bad echo. It comes and goes, and I can't figure out where it's coming from. One of these guys is doing it to me. I don't know. Oh, my goodness. All right, let's try it again.
You're listening to the Red Pill Reality Show. We'll be right back.
Everywhere you look, people are talking about CBD. That's why it's such an exciting time to experience HempWorks, the best-selling, most in-demand line of premium CBD oil and CBD products for your health and wellness. Founded by entrepreneur, executive, and business coach Janice Wagle, HempWorks premium quality standards can be found from the top down and across the organization. From hemp farms to clean extraction methods to safe bottling, every step in our production process is vetted, monitored, and traceable, literally from the ground up. Thanks to our unique tracking system on the side of every HempWorks CBD tincture, we can track each batch of CBD oil all the way back to the farm it came from, all to ensure that you are offering safe, effective, and high-grade CBD products.
For more information, go to mydailychoice.com/redpill. That's mydailychoice.com/redpill. And you'll find a whole variety of products available for you.
Hi, this is Michael from WCETradio.com and the new show Inside My Head, which airs every Monday at 7 to 8 p.m. Do you have depression, anxiety, bipolar 2? Maybe PTSD, OCD, or ADD? Maybe ADHD, ODD, or IED? Then tune in right here on WCETradio.com or come to our Facebook fan page, where we open up our emotions and rid ourselves of the negative stigma attached with our disorders. Call in, talk freely with no judgment. 803-369-3654, and that's on our Skype line. Just know you are not alone. And together, we could share information to better ourselves, one show at a time. So join me, right here, Inside My Head, on WCETradio.com. And let's work on making a better future for ourselves.
Late Nighters, make sure you like and follow WCET Radio and all our shows on social media. Just click the channel you want at the top and bottom of our homepage. Then be sure to share with a friend and ask that friend to do the same. And you become the resistance.
Late Nighters and WCET Radio listeners around the world, listen up. The shop is here, and you can order WCET Radio and your favorite shows swag right now and show your friends and your neighbors you're awake by wearing one of our many shirts, including our Stop the Censorship shirt. That one is a hot seller, so get yours while supplies last. We have coffee mugs, clocks so you never miss your favorite shows, books, mouse pads, and more coming soon. Just go to WCETradio.com and click the shop link. That's WCETradio.com and get to shopping.
Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then, listen close to this announcement. Laser Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Laser Technologies will save you on your supplies with high quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Laser Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@laser-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. Call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Laser Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
While other stations just talk a good game, we win it.
Hey, sounds like somebody's having a lot of fun.
take the blue pill. Take the red pill, take the blue pill, take the red pill, take the blue pill. Take the red pill, take the blue pill, take the red pill, take the blue pill. You take the red pill, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, 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 take the red. You stay in Wonderland. You stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
You're listening to the Red Pill Reality Show with your host, Riscala, every Saturday night from 9 p.m. to midnight. And now your host, Riscala.
Take the red pill, take the blue pill, take the red pill, take the blue pill.
Imagine, if you will, a country that frees all of its prisoners, however, threatens churchgoers with fines and jail. Imagine a country, if you will, shuts down all the schools and then closes all the parks. You have entered the new America. All right, we are back. It is the Red Pill Reality Show. An honor and a privilege to have you listen in. A couple of different ways you can listen to the show. One of the easiest ways, download our app. We have an app that's absolutely free. It has no adware, no spyware, no push notifications. Just an easy way to listen to the network. Depending upon what time you tune in, will depend upon the show that you get. You can find it on the Google Play Store, WCET-FM. I believe it's in the Apple Store as well. Again, it's free. No spyware, no adware, no push notifications. If you are on the internet, you can go to our home network. Our webpage is www.wcetfm.com. You'll find a player there. If you're a Facebook fanatic, and there's not a whole lot of us left, slowly making the exit out of Facebook. But if you are on Facebook, you can go to the Red Pill Reality Show on Facebook. And if you click on the Contact Us, that will get you a link over to the live server. And you'll be able to listen to the shows. We are a listener-supported station, so, without you guys, we can't do it, really. That's really what it boils down to. So it's that time where we need as much help as we can get. If you can find it in your heart to make a donation or become a subscriber, that would be really awesome. It would help us continue doing what we're doing. There's a wide variety of shows on the network, depending upon how much you know about a network, but we have silly shows and we have very serious shows and everything in between. And can't do it without the help of the listeners. So you go over to www.wcetfm.com and you'll see there's a way that you can kind of join in with us, become part of the family, if you will. Invest with us and help us to keep doing what we're doing. A lot of the information that you will find on our network is not readily available in other places. If you're one of those people who watches a lot of television, you're going to find that a lot of what we say here on some of our shows is contradictory to what the television says. Just like I told you, they cut the president off. The president of the United States, That just shows you how bad things have gotten. To cut him off mid-statement and then call him a liar. They're in a panic. They know that they are in a lot of trouble. They know that if this man continues in the process that he has been for the past 4 years, their behinds are on the line. And many of them will go to prison. Some of them, I believe, will become executed. I have reason to believe that that's already happened with some people, but it's not well known. One of those people is John McCain. I do believe that John McCain was executed. I also believe that George Bush Sr. was executed as well. I got that information from several different sources. And then some of the things I saw at the funeral. One of the most telltale signs is when you see a flag that is draped over a coffin. That flag should have absolutely no wrinkles or anything like that in it. You go back and watch the George Bush funeral, and you'll see that the flag that was draped over the coffin, you could see the fold marks. See, that's an indication of a traitor, but they don't want to say it out in the open. So yeah, I believe he was executed as well. I also know that there's been about $200 million worth of upgrades in Gitmo, as well as a variety of upgrades with FEMA camps all around the United States. I believe that they're preparing for prisoners. I believe that originally those camps, the prisoners for those camps would have been political prisoners. I believe that that has changed now. And it's no longer political prisoners, but it'll be the people who are going to put the let's try that in English. It's going to be the people who are going to put the political prisoners in prison. Well, there's a lot of P's in it. The political people that were going to put the people in prison. Oh. You got to find something to laugh about. I'll tell you what, the things are so serious. You got to find some comedy in some of this stuff. It's just you drive yourself nuts. Can't find that one. I have one where it just to kind of give you what kind of person we're talking about when we were talking about Biden. No, I don't see it. I had a little clip of him. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, here we go. Tell me what he's saying. You tell me what he's saying here.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true and international effort to pressure.
What? Let me play that again.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true and international effort to pressure.
Can you...
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true and international effort to pressure.
I don't care who you are. That is funny. I have no idea what he said. I don't even think you could spell what he said.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize.
Okay, all that's pretty clear. I will lead an effective strategy to mobilize.
True and international.
True and international.
Effort to pressure.
Debbie Depression. And they want this man to be the president. I don't know. I wish I could figure out what he was saying.
Pressure.
Uh-huh.
Pressure. Effort to pressure. International effort to pressure. International effort to pressure. International effort to pressure.
I don't know. Maybe it's a new form of the English language that I'm just not familiar with. But something about pressure in there, I can get that. I get quite... There's just one or two words.
I'll lead an effective strategy to...
Okay, he's going to lead an effective strategy to...
Mobilize.
To mobilize. True and international. What?
Pressure.
Something about sabbath de pressure. I tell you got to find some comedy in some of this stuff. If you don't, I know for me, it's enough to stress you out. Completely stress you out because of what's happening before us. Seeing the media literally lie to your face. Call a man a winner when he's not. They know he's not. They know very well he's not. I think it was a congressperson or senator, one of the two, from Hawaii, telling our president that he's no longer the president. He needs to concede, and that Joe Biden is the new president. They know damn well the process hasn't been completed yet. They know damn well that what they're saying is wrong, but they're saying it anyway to try to convince people of something that's just not true. Here's the thing. I believe 100% that 9/11, you hear me talk about, I go back to 9/11 because everything that we are going through, I believe, is because of 9/11. Everything. The media was complicit in 9/11. I spent an hour today looking up at the videos. A lot of the videos that I downloaded, but unfortunately the hard drive that they were downloaded on crashed, so I don't think I'll ever get them back. A lot of the videos that I had that showed evidence, at least in my opinion, showed evidence of aircraft that just didn't exist. There was one video where they're showing the second aircraft coming in, and there are buildings in the background as this aircraft is coming in towards the target building. It passes these buildings. Now, the aircraft is in the foreground and the buildings are in the background. As it passes the background buildings, the wing disappears. How's that possible? If it's in the foreground of the buildings, as it's passing the building, how does a wing disappear and then come back after it passes the building? It doesn't. It can if it's a computer graphic image. Then it can. And that's what I believe was happening that day. That if people saw an aircraft, it wasn't an aircraft, it was a hologram. And if there truly was anything that struck the building, it wasn't an aircraft. It was more than likely a missile. There is no aircraft that I'm aware of that could hit this building from one direction and then the opposite direction spew stuff out the opposite direction. It's just impossible. It is physically impossible what you witnessed that day. It is physically impossible for an aircraft that is made out of aluminum, and the front of the aircraft more than likely is fiberglass. It is physically impossible for an aircraft that is made out of aluminum and fiberglass to literally melt into a building as though the building had opened up and sucked it in like a vacuum cleaner and have nothing come back out. That is physically impossible. Particularly when the building is made out of 3-inch cold rolled steel and concrete. So I believe it was the media that was complicit in showing people on live TV that day a merger of a live feed and a computer graphic image together. Or possibly they were holograms. Possibly. But I guarantee you they weren't aircraft. There's no way. There's no way that an aircraft could do the damage that was shown to us that day. Not a regular aircraft. These are aircraft that are made out of aluminum. Aluminum that's not a whole lot thicker than a sheet of paper. Not a whole lot. And you're going to tell me that it went through a building like literally a hot knife goes through butter? No way. It is not physically possible. So I'm telling you that the media has been complicit in the wrongdoing of our country for a very long time. And it is my hope and my prayer that they see the justice that needs to be met, because they are traitors, in my opinion, when they purposely deceive the public into one thing or another. Right now, the greatest deception they're putting forth is this COVID deception. They have so many people so afraid that they're willing to allow the government to overstep their boundaries and tell them they cannot go out. It's already happening in Australia. There are places in Australia you're not allowed to go outside more than 2 hours. I have a friend of mine in the Philippines. He tells me that the police have been ordered, if you see somebody without a mask, no questions, shoot them in the head. There is another lockdown happening in Italy, and the people are rising up by the tens of thousands. This was all pre-planned. This is all a measure of taking away our freedoms and using this virus as the reason for that. When all it takes is a little bit of logic and a little bit of rational thinking. The virus, generally speaking, has a recovery rate of over 99%. Did you hear me? The virus, generally speaking, has a recovery rate of over 99% without medical intervention. Over 99% without medical intervention. Why are people so afraid? Over 99% without medical intervention, yet they are spewing right and left the number of 100,000 new cases, 200,000 new cases, a bazillion new cases. I'm not telling you how many people are dying anymore. The thing is fizzed out. It's gone. It doesn't exist in the manner that it originally did. And to those who it represents, a deathly threat is a very small component of our society. Why are you having healthy people where there's nothing wrong with them locked down? That's never happened before, ever. In the healthcare industry, never has a healthy person been told to go into quarantine. Never. But that's what they want for you. The end game is to destroy the small businesses and leave the big global corporations in power. And you see what the big corporations think of you and your thoughts? Think about Google. Think about Facebook. Think about Twitter. Think about Instagram. You say anything that goes against their agenda, they will cut you out. Boom, you're done. See you. Goodbye. This is what we have to look forward to as long as we continue to empower these people. Right now, it is so vitally important right now, more than ever. If you have an opportunity to do business with a small company, by God, do business with a small company. They will treat you far better than these big corporations will. You will become almost like a part of their family. Whenever you have the opportunity, do business with a small company versus a large corporation. That's going to be the end of our freedoms, is with these large corporations. They're censoring people. They're canceling people. Judge Jeannie was told that her show is no longer going to be welcome on Fox. Why? Because she was going to speak out about the fraud that is going on in the electoral system. They don't want to hear that. They don't want you to say that. Get out of here. So as long as you continue to contribute to Fox, I don't care who it is on Fox that you're watching, stop watching them. Send them letters and say, get off of Fox because I'm not watching you anymore. I like you. I like what you do. You know who I'm talking about. There's 3 or 4 of them that are worth your time to watch. They're pretty much in the middle of the road. What's the point in watching them if the people that are supporting them are supporting the demise of our country? Kind of stupid, isn't it? So just don't watch Fox anymore. Send them notes. Send them emails. Hey, you need to get off of Fox. We're not watching Fox anymore. They've already taken a big dump. They've taken a seriously big dump in the number of people that are watching their shows. The viewer numbers are way down. People are waking up to this insanity. People are tired. We're tired of the nonsense, of the crap that they throw at us. I'm telling you, when you have the opportunity, you should be emailing, you should be making phone calls. If you're an old fart like me and have a fax machine, fax these people if they got one. Send them a fax. I do everything I can. They don't like me. I'm the squeaky wheel. You know, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. I'm the squeaky wheel. I'm constantly calling and leaving messages. I can't talk to them, so I'm constantly leaving messages, sending emails. And there's a couple of them that still have a fax machine. I send them a fax. I drop a letter, and then I print it out and put it in my fax machine and fax it to them. And there's no question in my mind that they know from me, I'm not happy with what's going on. And I demand. I don't ask. I demand. I don't say, oh, please, Mr. Senator. Oh, please, Mr. Congressman. Oh, please, Mr. or Mrs. Representative. Would you please do this? No. This letter is to inform you of my demand. And that is as follows, blank, 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 blank. This last one I sent out was, I demand an audit. I don't want a recount. I want an audit. I want to know the real story. And I guarantee you, if we did an audit, there would be no question. It was an overwhelming landslide, a tsunami. The red wave wasn't a red wave. The red wave was a red tsunami. But if we have a recount, they can still hide a lot of the stuff. That's our part. That's what we can do. The people that go to these rallies, somebody was saying it was at least 300,000 people at one rally. Depending upon who you talk to, it was 100,000, 300,000. It was a lot of people there. If we could get every one of them to send a note, to send a letter, to send an email, if they got a fax machine, send a fax, make a phone call. Every one of them. Do you realize how much we could start making changes real quickly? These representatives of ours are deaf. They are deaf until we start calling and making it known. Then they're all ears because they know if they don't listen, their little butts are on the line. We got to do something about the electoral system. It is no longer, has integrity. That has been shown. Yeah, I'm looking at this thing. Somebody just sent me. Washington, D.C., million mega march. Over 100,000 people, according to this article. And the picture is just, oh my God, the picture's awesome. People who love their country, people who care about their country. You know, what I see with all of this, I don't see people burning anything down. I don't see people fighting. Matter of fact, I see people, this one video is of people, looks like they're praying. They're making circles and praying, for Pete's sake. Oh, what a horrible thing that is, right? Oh my God. What, these sick, twisted people? What's the matter with them making circles and praying for our country? Shame on them. Do you realize that there's people who really think like that? Do you realize that the people who think like that are in our government, for God's sake? They think that you and I are more, they're not morons, we're peons. Yeah, we're peons. That's our place in life, is for them to pee on us. And then tell us it's raining. The attitude has to change, my friends. The attitude has to change. Some of these people think that their poop doesn't smell. Well, we need to give them a fresh smell of what they really are. It's disgusting. It's putrid. I think more and more of us are rising up. I hope and pray I'm right. I see it, apparently to me, it seems to be anyway. More and more people are rising to the occasion and saying, no, this isn't happening. The Stop the Steal movement is becoming larger and larger, faster and greater. The people who were in D.C. today, the president visited them as he drove by in his motorcade, and the excitement was unbelievable. I don't see that kind of thing happening for Dipstick Joe. I don't see that kind of stuff happening for Comma Baby. The most excitement I see is what was with the previous president, who showed up in Miami, and I counted him. There was 35 cars. 35 cars. There weren't even people in a rally for. But they want you to believe that this man beat the president in a close run. It was a close run, though. It was okay, Riscala, because it was a close run. Yeah. It was a close run only because of fraud. I said that from the very beginning. If Donald Trump is to lose this election, the only way it will happen is because of fraud. There is no other way. You look at how many people show up to a rally for Donald Trump. You look at how many people show up to a rally. I was going to say something else, but I put it on. For Joe Biden. There is no comparison. It's night and day. Totally different. A basketball versus a ping pong ball. No comparison. But they want you to believe different. Even though the evidence is before you, they want you to believe different. Oh no, Joe won. He's the president-elect. They want to say that so much that you begin to say that. That he's the president-elect. He's the president. He ain't spit. I got news for you. He's a private citizen like you and me. He's no different right now. Nothing has been decided. That's the truth. And that's what we should be hammering out there when these people start to say these absurd things. It's ridiculous that we allow them to continue to say these things. I called up one of the radio stations here locally, one of the Clear Channel radio stations, and I complained. I said I was in my car for about 25, maybe 35 minutes at the most. You people mentioned the new cases here in Palm Beach County at least 3 times in that short period of time. Why? Why do you mention how many cases, but you never mention how many deaths anymore? Only new case. Click. Beep. This hung up on me. I don't care. Well, you know what? I don't care either. I'll keep calling. I'll keep complaining. I hope and pray that enough of us do that, that these people get the message. We know you're lying. We know what you're trying to do. It's not working. Because the whole purpose of it is to perpetuate fear so that they can continue to keep people in fear, constantly afraid. It's up to you, really. When all is said and done, it's going to be up to you. You want to live your life in fear? One of the worst conditions to live under. Extremely stressful. We're going to go through another lockdown if this bimbo this dipstick become president and vice president. Mandatory masks. This is what the rest of the world, the globalists, are pushing on the rest of the world. The letter I read to you from the Canadian. You're going to have your debts forgiven, but you'll never be able to own anything. And as a part of the program, you have to accept whatever vaccine we would decide to stick you with. Now more than ever, we need to be using logic and rational thinking. Because they're going to take everything they can and twist it in whatever way they can in order to make it acceptable to people. And only those who are well informed will be able to see through the bull feces and make it out the other side without being damaged by these things. A young mother that I happen to know told me she couldn't wait for she's so worried that her child is going to get this COVID. She didn't know, she did after I told her, she didn't know that her child, who was, I think, 7 or 8 years old, was in the lowest, the very lowest of the threat with regard to the age range. Her child had a 0.000003, 5 zeros and a 3 chance of dying from this disease. 0.00003. She couldn't wait for the vaccine. Are you going to tell me that the vaccine is so safe that 99.00007 people get affected by it? There's already reports of side effects, bad side effects. So why would you want to get a vaccine for something that has a well over 99% recovery rate without medical intervention? Why would you want to do that? Because you watch that damn TV and it has you convinced that that must be done. Why would you want to listen to anybody who says, oh, we're not going back to normal until everybody gets vaccinated?
And now he's saying that until we get mass vaccinations, we might never be able to gather in groups.
And which activities like mass gatherings may be, in a certain sense, more optional. And so until you're widely vaccinated, those may not come back at all.
The president's coronavirus response team are all pushing the Bill Gates vaccination agenda. Dr. Fauci is on the leadership council for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. In January of 2017, Anthony Fauci told a crowd at Georgetown University that there would be a surprise outbreak during the Trump presidency.
There is no question that there will be a challenge to the coming administration in the arena of infectious diseases, both chronic infectious diseases in the sense of already ongoing disease, and we have certainly a large burden of that, but also there will be a surprise outbreak.
Deborah Birx is a board member for the Global Fund to Fight AIDS, Tuberculosis, and Malaria, which was founded by the Gates Foundation and known for millions of dollars of fraudulent misuse of funds. In October of 2019, Bill Gates sponsored Event 201, a simulation that estimated 65 million people killed by coronavirus. In November of 2019, the Pure Institute, funded by Bill Gates, was granted European patent number EP3172319B1 for a coronavirus vaccine that may be used to treat humans. Today, Dr. Fauci says the virus will keep coming back, and he says the ultimate game changer will be a new vaccine. In Australia, the Prime Minister is telling people the shutdown will last months, that it's the new normal, and that the only way out of your homes is to accept the vaccine.
So that's what you got to look forward to. If it's happening in Australia, if it's happening in Canada, if it's happening in Italy, it's going down in the UK. Guess what? And Joe Biden is a vital component of that being able to successfully go through. He has openly told the people of the United States, we're going to shut down. He has openly confessed, you're going to wear a mask. This is not about your health. This is about control. Heavy duty, serious control. Now more than ever, I am asking people, please don't sit on the sideline. You are going to have to show support. And that can be in a variety of ways, but you're going to have to show support. People are leaving Facebook by droves. Facebook is going to go down the tubes here very shortly, if I'm not mistaken. People are leaving Twitter. These platforms that continuously censor the truth, people now have an opportunity to leave them and go elsewhere where they can share their information, right, wrong, or indifferent. That's what a lot of people died for, to preserve the right for us to be able to freely speak our opinions, whether we agree or not. Someone who is allowing us their platform does not have the right to shut us down. And that's what you're seeing with Facebook. That's what you're seeing with Twitter, with Instagram. Controlled searches through Google. There used to be a variety of, what was it I was looking for the other day, and it wouldn't come up. It wouldn't, for the life of me, wouldn't come up. I'd tried right and left, and it used to come up all the time. Controlled searches on Google so that they can formulate people's opinions. That's not the place of these big corporations. They're supposed to serve us. The reason they got to where they are is because they did at one time provide a service for us. And that service has been abused to the point where people are leaving in droves. And I don't blame them. We need to send a message to these large corporations. You are in existence only because of us. If we didn't buy your whatever it was that you're selling, if we didn't use your service, if we had no need for whatever it is that you're providing, you wouldn't be where you are. So we are a vital component in the equation of your success. It would be suggested that you treat us properly. Otherwise, go pound sand. If you deal with a small business, I promise you, you'll get better results. You'll get better treatment, far better treatment than you will with a large corporation. You ever have a problem with a cell phone and call the people who make the cell phone? Yeah. Now, sadly, there aren't any mom and pop stores making cell phones, but you know what I'm talking about. You get a hold of your phone company. You have a problem with your phone line. You get a hold of your phone company. See how long it takes you to resolve that. Any of these big corporations, well, I have to talk to my manager, or I have to talk to somebody upline, I have to escalate this, so blah, 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 blah. You talk to a small business, okay, we'll take care of it for you, thank you. Boom, you're done. So whenever you can, I'm asking, I'm begging you guys, whenever you can, deal with a small business whenever possible. It's not to say that every small business out there is perfect and doesn't make mistakes. There are jerks out there. When they are, let other people know about them. They'll do themselves in. That's what I see happening right now with what the president is doing. He's giving the other side enough rope just to let them do themselves in. How are these people going to act when the final decision comes down? They go, sorry, Joe Biden is not the president. Didn't make it. How do you think they're going to act after they've been begging everybody for unity? They're going to go bat you-know-what crazy. I do think I'm going to enjoy it, though. I shouldn't. But I do, because for 4 years they've been nothing but nasty. Nothing but nasty. Claiming this and claiming that and doing this and doing that. For 4 years they've done nothing but harass this president. For 4 years. Did their best to bring this president down. For 4 years. Did everything that they could in order to see to it that he failed. You know, if you want the president to fail, it means you want the country to fail. Is that how much you hate our country? If you hate our country that much, then why are you here? But there are people who want this president to fail, openly. Not because he deserves to fail, but because their minds have been deceived and misguided and programmed and conditioned. And it's a sad state of affairs that so many of them still exist, that they can't see the truth before them. They can't see the truth even when it stands before them. Tens of thousands of people at rallies for Trump. 10 or 20 people for Biden. Yet they want you to believe it was a close call. It was Trump gave him a good run, Rascala. He gave him a good run, but Biden won. Biden was the man. We have to do our part to see to it that the truth comes out. Whatever part that is that you play, do it. If these people who claim that this man is the new president, if they want to claim him as the new president, why would they have a problem with a recount or an audit? Because most of them do. They don't want a recount. They don't want an audit. The one who said they would recount said, well, we want to count all ballots, even the illegal ones they want to count. To have your vote neutralized by somebody who doesn't even belong in this country. That makes sense to you? So we're down to the wire. Things are happening in the background which are looking good. Numbers are changing. Evidence is coming forward that there was, in fact, a program in place to deviate the votes from Trump to Biden. Supposedly hundreds of thousands of votes that were directly moved over. Then you have Project Veritas with an approximate 1.8 million votes that they have found that were illegitimately placed for Biden. When you can begin to combine all of these things together along with the people who are willing to testify, they have firsthand knowledge, they were witness to some of this activity, you're going to find that Biden really doesn't stand a chance. And that's how it's been from the beginning. They knew that. They knew he didn't stand a chance. Why do you think he was hiding out in his basement all the time? Because they knew he had to fix. They had to fix in for him. Yeah, you don't need to go out and do what Donald Trump is doing. What was he doing? 3, 4, 5 rallies a day, for God's sake. How many was Biden doing? 1 if he was lucky in a week. But that they want you to believe it was a close race. What's the matter with you, Rascala? It was a close race. It's like putting I can't think of a good example. It would be like putting a Ferrari next to the old time Volkswagen. You know, a V12 Ferrari next to a 4-cylinder air-cooled Volkswagen Bug, and telling you that's a fair race. Yeah. Ain't gonna happen. the turtle and the rabbit kind of thing, right? Ain't going to happen. But they want you to believe that it was a close race. It was close, and we have integrity. Oh, no, don't believe these people who are telling you that there was fraud. Oh, we can't have them say that. So we'll cut them off mid-sentence, even if it's the President of the United States, for God's sake, and tell you that they're lying. Oh, well, we can't have them say that. What they're saying is inaccurate. It's the same thing as saying he's lying. And then people continue to promote their stations. Forget that nonsense, man. Write to the stations and tell them, hey, you know what? I saw you cut the president off. I'm not watching you anymore. See you, bye. They act as though they can do nothing wrong. And if they do get caught doing something wrong, then it's just they try to write it off as something very minimal. But when they catch the other side doing something very minimal, it's a major production. The hypocrisy is just through the roof. Now, there was a note that was going around. One of the things that I don't know if it's accurate or not, but it seemed like a nice gesture anyway. It was a note that was saying that the president was asking people to send him a handwritten letter, a snail mail letter. In other words, take a piece of paper out, put it in your printer, or handwrite a piece of paper, and ask the president to demand an audit of this electoral system. Could you imagine 70 million? Oh, my God. So if you feel it in your heart, send the man a letter. Tell him tell him what I told him. I said, thank you very much for what you do. I can't imagine anyone doing what you do. I can't. I just simply can't. I said, thank you for what you do. I can't imagine anyone doing what you do. I would like you to know that I am demanding a audit of the electoral system. I believe that massive fraud occurred. Period. Send him a letter. Take time. It'll take you 10 minutes. Snail mail. Don't send an email. Send a snail. That way he has a hard copy. If he has to go before the Supreme Court and he has 70 million, I think that would weigh heavily. I think it would weigh quite heavily. So this week, make it one of your projects that you're going to send the president a letter of encouragement and a demand that you want to see an audit of the electoral system. We don't want just a recount. We want an audit. We want every ballot checked to see that if it actually was a legal ballot. Because I believe what they did is they had a bunch of ballots printed up that were illegal, and they used them as per need. And that's why they shut these counts down in the middle of the night. It took them a little while to build all that inventory up. And magically, when they opened back up, all of a sudden Trump's not in the lead anymore. I looked at the returns here for my county. I found something very peculiar. I can't go back into the prior years because they don't have it. I don't know why, but they don't. But in a county that has a little over 1,900,000 people, supposedly almost 400,000 people used the mail-in ballots. I don't know. That number seems awful strange to me. I also checked the two counties that were south of me, and that number was almost the same in both of those counties, regardless of the number of people of the county. When I checked other counties around the state, it was right around that 300,000 mark. Trump would be leading until that 300,000 came in, and all of a sudden he was losing. To me, it stands out like a sore thumb. It's pretty evident. Now all they have to do is convince the court of it. And I don't think they'd have a hard time convincing the court that there was something less than honorable going on, much less than honorable. And it was pretty predominant, particularly in the 5 or 6 states that he was having issues in. And that caused the election to be pushed in a different direction. And if in fact it was fraud, then the whole election should be found null and void. You know, the majority of the fraud, haven't heard any fraud going on for the benefit of Donald Trump. All the fraud has been for the Democrats. So there's probably senators and congressmen, congresswomen, and representatives who lost their seats because of this fraud as well. They were doing it to them as well. All right, I'm out of time. I'm out of patience tonight. I'm watching something that really shouldn't be happening. Really shouldn't be happening. I'm watching people bow down again, yet again, to yet another mask mandate that was supposed to be over at the beginning of this month here in Palm Beach County. But no, they've done it again. Just like I said, this virus is a perfect tool. We can bring it down. We can bring it up. We can do what we need with it. We can steal your rights. And we can blame it all on the virus. Well, it's for the betterment of everybody. It's for the what do they say? It's for the good of all, whatever that is that they use. It's horse crap. That's what it is. And people can, as long as you continue to go along with it, they're going to continue to do it. They're going to continue to use it. They're going to, whenever they want to steal some more from you, just go, oh, well, we have another massive amount of cases. They're not talking about anybody dying. They're just talking about cases. Have you noticed that? Have they said, oh, we have another 126,000 cases and 20,000 deaths? No, just 126,000 cases. Big whoopee. Big deal. 126,000 cases. Big deal. If nobody's dying, what's the big deal? If we are on track this year to fall less than 2019 and 2018 for the total number of deaths. See, that's another thing that they're changing. Google changed the numbers. I looked them up about a month and a half ago. Total number of deaths for 2018, 2,800,000 and some change. Total deaths for 2019, 2,800,000, almost the same number. Total deaths for 2020, as of September the 24th of this year, 2 million. We're 800,000 short. Where's the pandemic? Because you're being lied to. You're being deceived. Fear is being pushed upon people so that they can get away with these unauthorized acts that they're doing. And it's time for the people to stand up, stand back, and stand up for what is right. And say, no, we're not going to lock down. Forget you. No, you can't tell me how many people I can have in my home, for God's sake. If you don't, then it's just going to get worse. The idiot down in Miami, that moron, the Miami moron, the mayor of Miami, the Miami moron. Yeah, he wants people to wear masks inside the house. Inside the house. It's going to be up to you. I can't believe people would expect somebody to wear a mask inside the house. Come on, man. Give me a break. Huh? You want to do that? You want to allow this man to steal this election and force you to wear a mask and those that you love to wear a mask and lock this country down and destroy what we've taken 4 years to try to build back up again? I don't think so. Talk to you in a week.
You take the red pill, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, 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 take the red. You stay in Wonderland. You stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Take the red pill, take the blue pill, take the red pill, take the blue pill.